to women who defied protesters to enter one of Hinduism's holiest temples said they have no fear of mobs enraged by their actions. Kanaka Durga
39
and Bindu Ammini
40
made history by entering Sabarimala shrine in India's Kerala state on Wednesday, sparking protests. The women told the BBC they felt it necessary to uphold women's rights. In September, the Indian Supreme Court said the temple's ban against women of menstruating age was discriminatory. Hinduism regards menstruating women as unclean and bans them from participating in religious rituals, but most temples allow women to enter as long as they are not menstruating at the time. Some protesters argue that the court ruling goes against the wishes of the temple's deity, like Ayappa, and reacted angrily. Since then, women have had their entry blocked in defiance to the ruling, and even been subjected to violence. After prolonged resistance, Ms. Ammini and Mr. Gunn successfully entered and the night followed alongside plainclothes police officers on Wednesday. After they entered, thousands protesting put Kerala state into virtual lockdown. Right-wing groups, supported by India's ruling Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata party, but demanded a statewide shutdown, and businesses and transportation became paralyzed. Across the state, hundreds were arrested, and at least one person was killed in clashes. Speaking to BBC Hindi's Imran Querishi from a secret location on Friday, Ms. Ammini, a law teacher, said she felt it was important for her to visit the shrine in order to uphold constitutional principles and constitutional morality within India. Gender justice is a big issue facing our society, and the implementation of this judgment helps to implement gender justice. She said of their visit, "I may be killed by the people," she said, of the protest response. But Ms. Ammini maintained she had no fear of the angry mobs. The sentiment was shared by Mr. Gunn. "I am not afraid. But every time women make any progress, society has always made a lot of noise," she told the BBC. A religious devotee, she wanted to visit Sabarimala and pray to the deity, Mr. Gunn said. The site, which attracts millions of visitors every year, is one of the most prominent in the country. "Even though I believe in God, I am a person who feels there are some practices that have to change," she said. Her view echoes that of Chief Justice Dipak Misra handing down the ruling in September. He said religion stood for dignity and identity, and women should have equal right to practice it. Despite the protests, Mr. Gunn says she will return to the site next year. The issue has become increasingly contentious in India in the run-up to a general election, which is due to be held by May. The Kerala state government, run by Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, supports the court verdict and has vowed to provide protection. Critics have accused Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi of pursuing a religiously divisive agenda on the issue to cut the BJP's mostly Hindu support base. A day before Ms. Ammini and Mr. Gunn were able to enter, a 620-kilometer, 385-mile human train of women was organized in support. After 2 days of protest in the aftermath, only small demonstrations were reported across Kerala on Friday. Overall, the situation is calm, especially around the Sabarimala temple, where a large number of devotees continue to visit. Police spokesman VP Pramod Kumar told at news agencies, reports suggest a third woman may now have also entered the temple on Thursday, escorted by her husband and under police protection. A poacher has been ordered to watch the Disney film Bambi repeatedly after he was convicted of illegally killing hundreds of deer. Missouri hunter David Barry, Jr., must view the film at least once a month during his year-long sentence. He was arrested in August along with 2 family members for killing the deer, taking their heads and leaving their bodies to rot. Prosecutors said it is reportedly one of the biggest poaching cases in Missouri history. On top of the jail sentence for the illegal deer hunting, Judge Robert George ordered Barry Jr. to view the Walt Disney movie Bambi, with the first viewing being on or before December 24th,
2018,
and at least one such viewing each month thereafter. During his spell in prison, the 1942 cartoon about woodland creatures shows a hunter kill the mother of eponymous deer character Bambi. A months-long investigation, spanning several states, led to the arrest of Barry Jr., his father David Barry, Sr., and his brother Kyle Barry, according to local newspaper, the Springfield News-Leader. While the total number of deer taken illegally is unknown, Lawrence County's conservation agent Andy Barton said it could be several hundred. Barry Jr. received a year-long sentence in Lawrence County Prison after pleading guilty to illegally taking wildlife. He has also been sentenced to a 120-day term in Barton County Prison for a firearms probation violation, and both he and his father had their hunting privileges revoked for life by the Missouri Conservation Commission. A poacher has been ordered to watch the Disney film Bambi repeatedly after he was convicted of illegally killing hundreds of deer. Missouri hunter David Barry, Jr., must view the film at least once a month during his year-long sentence. He was arrested in August along with 2 family members for killing the deer, taking their heads and leaving their bodies to rot. Prosecutors said it is reportedly one of the biggest poaching cases in Missouri history. On top of the jail sentence for the illegal deer hunting, Judge Robert George ordered Barry Jr. to view the Walt Disney movie Bambi, with the first viewing being on or before December 24th,
2018,
and at least one such viewing each month thereafter. During his spell in prison, the 1942 cartoon about woodland creatures shows a hunter kill the mother of eponymous deer character Bambi. A months-long investigation, spanning several states, led to the arrest of Barry Jr., his father David Barry, Sr., and his brother Kyle Barry, according to local newspaper, the Springfield News-Leader. While the total number of deer taken illegally is unknown, Lawrence County's conservation agent Andy Barton said it could be several hundred. Barry Jr. received a year-long sentence in Lawrence County Prison after pleading guilty to illegally taking wildlife. He has also been sentenced to a 120-day term in Barton County Prison for a firearms probation violation, and both he and his father had their hunting privileges revoked for life by the Missouri Conservation Commission. The United States military says it has killed 62 fighters from the Islamist group al-Shabab in 6 airstrikes in Somalia. 4 airstrikes on Saturday killed 32 militants, and a further 2 on Sunday killed 28, it said in a statement. These were the deadliest air attacks in Somalia since November 2017, when The United States said it had killed 100 militants. Somalia has seen a sharp increase in the number of airstrikes and casualties since President Donald Trump took office in the United States in January 2017. A tally by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism reveals that at least 400 people have been killed in airstrikes since the beginning of 2017, far more than the previous 10 years combined. The latest strikes bring to at least 30 the number carried out in Somalia so far this year, compared with 35 recorded in 2017. The United States has a huge military base in neighboring Djibouti, from where it launches attacks on the militants. Mr. Trump gave the United States military greater authority in March 2017 to attack militants in Somalia. Traditionally, United States presidents have been wary of intervening in Somalia since 80s Special Forces soldiers died fighting militias in the capital Mogadishu in 1993, a battle dramatized in the film Black Hawk Down. No civilians were killed in the latest airstrikes, which were carried out in coordination with the Somali government.